how did you start drumming? What did you really like about drumming? And how did you break the world record? Go for it.
I started drumming at the age of 2, which was very early. It was the story many years ago when my father was learning how to play drums. That's when I would listen him every day when he would play the drums with his teacher. But one day he was dropping his teacher to the gate, and then I picked up the sticks and started playing the drums. The beat was exactly the same. That's why my mother was confused that is it my father playing or is it me playing?
Really? Is that true? Oh my God, that's amazing. That's quite a prodigy you have there, Rashi. So, like, how did you first feel when you because Devaagyh said that you were confused because the beat was the same. So then, how did you decide to kind of pursue his talents later on?
Anika, the truest thing is that, and I have believed this from the day he has been born, and I will continue to believe this till the day I draw my last breath. Every child is special. Every child has that innate ability to excel at something or the else. Some might do it in studies, some might do it in math, some might do it in music, and others might do it in sports. But every child has that innate ability. And as parents, we are the gardeners. And a gardener's only job is to see how to nurture the plant. So when I saw that spark of music in him, my only job from that day onwards was to provide him with the opportunities, the training, the facilities so that he could develop that sense better, that acoustic knowledge of his better. And we have seen that the more things we gave him to learn, the more he achieved. So it is not that he achieved sitting inside a room. He was provided so many opportunities and facilities in that field that he was able to excel and show that he could do more in that field.
Absolutely. And with having said that, I think there was a whole episode where he got really famous. He broke the Guinness World Record. I think he entered the Guinness Book of World Records, and following which there was a whole episode where he had to give and deliver interviews. He came on Times Now with Mr. Arnab Goswami. I think he's been giving interviews for a long time now. So how did he handle that pressure of being in public and speaking in public? Like, I also know that he's given a TED Talk. So how was that whole experience for him and for you as a parent?
Again, I say the same thing, that the fear of public speaking is in children or even in adults when they grow up because they haven't done enough of it.
Yeah, true.
That is the only reason. So we are not scared of washing our hands that, something miraculous or very strange is going to happen because it's a very routine task for us. Yeah. So Devaagyh has been going on stage and performing since he was just 12 or 13 months old. He gave his first stage show at the age of 13 months, and he had proper lines to say and to sit and to stand up and to do everything in that school play of his. So for him, it is like a second nature to go on stage and perform and then give an interview and talk to the anchor or the master of ceremonies and give his 2 bits about the person who came before him and 2 bits about who came after him. It doesn't really matter because he's been doing it since his childhood. So for him, it is more like a second nature. So when it came to giving an interview, yes, he was prepped because he was talking to personalities or people who were of a certain standing, and we of course did not want any informal language in front of them. But otherwise, for him, it has been a cakewalk. Same with TEDx. He was invited maybe around 20 days before the actual recording of the TEDx talk was there, and in the matter of 20 days, he managed to tell me what he wanted to speak about. He gave me the points he wanted to add in the speech, and like I was writing it, and he's like, "Nee, this is not right. I think we should talk more about that and less about this." So had his own inputs to give. My only concern, and I do brain training for so many small children, the age of 2 to 4, and I tell their parents, see, anything you are a natural at, your child will obviously be a natural at.
Yeah.
So you and I can speak Hindi and English well, so our kids can speak Hindi, English well.
Yeah.
French, they might find tough because it's not natural for us. So try and
that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
So something that you are able to do confidently, your children will also do. So you have to also be confident about that, I feel at times.
Makes sense, absolutely. And having said that, when when it was time for Devaagyh to go for TEDx, and then he actually has a very successful TEDx speech online available on YouTube. So what made you take up public speaking with Instrucko after that? Like, did you have some goals in mind that he needs to polish a little bit more, a little bit of this, a little bit of that? What really you had in your mind is what I'd like to know.
What I had in mind is that so far, impromptu speech, he is very good with. And anything that has been formal, giving an introduction, staying on the topic, and giving a closing, he has done it in writing in school. But preparing and delivering it is something I knew there's a science behind it. And even though I can teach him what to say and what not to say, the structure of giving the speech and the way it has to be delivered is of course something that needed to be taught scientifically. And I went through the program and I did feel that it was up to the mark, and that's why I enrolled him in the program.
That's amazing. That's great. And Devaagyh, I just want to know from you now, because you have delivered TEDx speeches, you have been delivering speeches in our sessions, and like I have told you before, your graph has just improved tremendously. Because like I also told you, Rashi, from day one until the last lesson that he'd had, it was just amazing, because now he's just very spontaneous, and also he is taking constructive feedback and he has incorporated it inside or into his speeches. So that says a lot about about his growth mindset. Really, he's willing to improve, he's willing to learn even more. That zeal to learn is there. So having said that, do you notice any difference in his public speeches? Do you notice any difference in the way he thinks, in the way his thought process works, really, or just in the way that he interacts with people now? Any difference after the Instrucko lessons?
Yes, of course there is. And since we are in the times of COVID, and these children have been going through these online virtual classes for more than a year now. So what happens nowadays is that every answer that they frame and the way that they gauge their intelligence in any of these classes is via the oral answer given by a child. And the format of teaching is also changing a lot, in the sense that they are now switching from direct answers to a reasoning answer to see whether or not the child has understood the chapter, whether they are grasping the concepts, whether they are understanding the latent meanings that are there or the concepts that are there in a chapter. So each teacher is gauging the child's understanding by what they are speaking, not by what they are writing, which was initially possible when these children were in the offline classes. In online classes, each answer that he is nowadays giving, since he has been in the course, and of course that process has been improving, he is able to frame his answer better. He is able to convey whatever he wishes for the teacher and the students in the class to understand in a more formal format. It is not haywire, and he is able to hold their attention and give the presentations. Like nowadays, a lot of focus there that you have to do the research PPTs and then you have to give a presentation on that. So he is able to give the presentation with a lot of confidence and a lot of pertinent information. So the teachers are also liking it, and of course he's being chosen for many more things than he was earlier, like
of course,
story narration and this and that and all the oral things.
Of course. I'm glad. I'm so glad that you said that, because I do see a visible difference, which is why, and I'm sure his school teachers would too. It's amazing this way. So, having said this, what are the future plans for Devaagyh as a drummer, as a public speaker, as a motivational speaker? What plans do you have next, Devaagyh? What do you plan to do next?
I'll let him answer this. I'll just add one line over here. Oh, thought, not a line. And that thought is that he's free to choose whichever field he wishes to choose, and that is why it's a very strange view around the study table where he sits is surrounded by all of these space related things and everything, and there's a Milky Way and stuff, and then there is a huge music room with more than 10 instruments, and out of which 5 to 6 he plays very regularly. And so it is just like, I don't know where these two things meet, and I don't know what he will do in future, but whatever he does, he will be fully supported. And as always, we'll be the gardeners and try to facilitate him in every way possible.
Absolutely, that's a very beautiful thought, and I think for him, truly, the world is his oyster. If you want me to answer where these two things meet, I think we can, like he said, he's free, and I'm sure Devaagyh also understands that pretty well. And Devaagyh, I'd just like to know from you very quickly as to what do you think you might be most interested in doing? I'd really like to hear that answer. I'm sure it's full of creativity.
Now, my mother said that I'm interested in space also and music also. So I can do one thing, like when I complete one mission in space, so I can come back and play some music.
Yeah, of course. Or maybe you could celebrate your mission in space by playing a guitar in space. That'll be amazing.
Elon Musk, instead of car, he'll send the entire music.
True, absolutely. And many more such achievements lie in store for you, Devaagyh. And I'm so glad that I got a chance to sit down with you, Rashi, and you, Devaagyh, because it just also brings me to a different perspective on how parenting, essentially has changed. And this is a really different side to see with Indian parents. Thank you so much for taking out the time. And I wish you, as a teacher, I wish you loads and loads of public talks in the future. And I'm sure you'll be great at every single one of them. All right. Thank you so much for your time, Rashi. Thank you, Devaagyh. Any message that you'd like to give to our instrucko parents who are thinking of joining instrucko, and anything for us?
To all the parents who are even slightly hesitant and thinking that will this program be beneficial, so my only suggestion to you is that we are running around trying to teach our children critical thinking, trying to teach our children arithmetical abilities and different things like in English and grammar, but we have forgotten the most basic thing. If a child is unable to communicate their emotion, their thoughts and their thought processes in future, he'll just be a machine, and we already have enough machines.
Yeah, makes sense. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Great. Thank you for your time, Devaagyh and Rashi. It was beautiful. And I will connect with you on Tuesday then.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, darling. Bye.